Today's podcast is brought to you by Audible. Get a free audiobook download and a 30-day free trial at audibletrial.com/InGeneral. Over 180,000 titles to choose from for your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player. Welcome to the InGeneral podcast, episode number 64. It's been a long time, guys. I know it's me again. But today, I'm not joined by our usual folks. We're joined by Jurassic Park extraordinaire, podcast aficionado, and master editor, Stephen Morris. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing fantastic. I thank you again for having me on InGeneral. It's good to be. The last time I was here, I was with Justin J. Peterson, Jurassic Raptor, and that was, God, it feels like almost 2 years ago. So.
It's been a number of years. Yes. Well, today, we spoiler alert. Steven and I just did a quick Jurassic Park 3 episode on See Jurassic Right. That'll be out by the end of November.
Yep, it'll be last Thursday of November.
So you guys know how I've been, praising Jurassic Park 3. Oh, what happened?
I was gonna say I'm such a dummy. I was thinking of Thanksgiving. It's the last Tuesday of November.
There you go, guys. Last Tuesday. Keep that. Bookmark that. Okay. If you want to hear two cool guys and some other people talk about the best Jurassic Park sequel, you can hear me try his best to defend the movie. But today we're talking some Jurassic Park World 25th Anniversary 3 news. Okay, guys. So first bit of news, Steven, Rafe Spall. We know his name now.
Really?
You ready for this? This is a groundbreaking piece of information. Spoiler alert, if you guys consider this a spoiler. His name is Eli Mills. That's it. It's pretty fantastic. Steven, thoughts on the name, Eli Mills?
Eli Mills. I kind of think he's going to be a good guy. I don't know. I really don't know that much about a lot of the smaller characters and whether he's going to be... I mean, are these roles that are comparable to like Sam Jackson's role in Jurassic Park, where it's kind of, or even like Jake Johnson's role in Jurassic World? Like, is Rafe Spall's character, like, is he in a handful of scenes throughout the narrative, or is he a one scene kind of guy, or is he like a Dieter Stark where he's kind of present, but he only really gets one meaty scene? Like. A name like Eli, to me, he sounds like he's going to be a good guy, but Rafe Spall doesn't really play. I mean, he's played a mix of both, So I don't know. I feel like he'll be like. Do you think he's going to be paired with Ted Levine and Toby Jones, or is he going to be his own thing? Yeah,
I think he's going to be paired with Toby Jones, because if I remember correctly, when he first got announced, it was him and Toby Jones in the same Variety or Deadline article. So I think those two are like a pairing for like the Mercenary Group or InGen or I guess Lockwood's characters team. So I think we're looking at a Jake Johnson size, maybe a Dieter Stark in terms of like screen presence, but I don't think he's going to be a major player, unfortunately. But man, I'm a big fan of his. I really like him. If you guys have seen a movie called The F Word, or also known as What If, a little fun rom-com. He's a super likable guy, but he can be kind of a dickbag. So I can see him playing like a Dieter Stark, kind of like a douchebag dinosaur hunter character. So we'll see. I mean, like, Steven, what do you want to see from our buddy here, Rafe Spall, Eli Mills?
Yeah, I mean, it's because the movie that I remember him the most in was Prometheus. And so,
oh, wait, he's a stupid scientist in that movie. I forgot about that.
Yeah, and he played the kind of like goofy, like kind of not asshole, but just kind of like, he's just kind of like a little
laid back almost.
Yeah, he's kind of like laid back in a way that's kind of annoying, and I think he like kind of leaned into it in a way that I thought was very funny, and I kind of liked his bumbling kind of a character in that movie. And I don't know if I want to see the same, because I think the first movie he was in was Shaun of the Dead, where he has that kind of brief role at the beginning where he's
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
where he's
like the manager guy, eh?
yeah, and it's like it'd be kind of fun to see him be more mean in that kind of way. But I think he's like a handsome guy, but I think I would like to see him be a baddie personally. But I could see him being kind of a nice guy, maybe like a scientist or helping Claire or something like that. But I don't know. I kind of want to see him on the baddies. I kind of like that idea.
Yeah, I'm totally into his character. But you know what? Speaking of good characters and like just fun-loving, bumbling, fun guys like that, Jake Johnson, Jurassic World, Lowry. The most interesting thing happened with his character actually over the past few weeks. A official one-pager from Universal themselves, and believe it or not, Frontier Developments from as far back as August, has suggested that Jake Johnson is reprising his role as Lowry. And this comes to a shock to many of us, considering Jake Johnson has himself said in February of 2017 that he's not returning. And as early as June 2017, Colin Trevorrow himself has said that the reason Jake Johnson is not coming back is because there was no reasonable way to fit him into the story. But that being said, this is an official one-sheeter from two official sources regarding the Jurassic Park franchise, Jurassic World franchise. And the way they worded this one-pager, it's these guys are starting the movie while Jake Johnson, B.D. Wong, and Jeff Goldblum reprise their roles. So it's not like it doesn't seem like a simple typo,
No,
Where,
it feels very
it seems
suspicious.
Deliberate.
It's very suspicious, I feel like. Yeah, because you're right. Like, it wasn't like he was just somewhere in the general cast list. Like, I can see...
He also mentioned as reprising.
Yeah, I could see the social media person, like, copying and pasting from an old one and deleting names, but then forgetting. But this was, you're saying it's very deliberately. Like, I looked at it was, reprising and being part of B.D. Wong and Jeff... Like, yeah, it seems very... It seemed very suspicious to me.
Let me throw a wrench into this suspicion then. When we reached out to Universal directly, I think, Universal has replied to our inquiry stating that Jake Johnson's inclusion was indeed a typo, and the revised document had removed him. So, what does that make you think?
Well, I wonder if maybe, as far as marketing goes, maybe his role isn't big enough that they wanted to make a meal out of it. It's kind of like the Marvel movies where when they have certain characters returning, it's not really like, you don't really need to make a point of like Happy Hogan coming back or like how like spoilers, Gwyneth Paltrow is like at the end of is in. Do you not want me to not spoil it?
Oh no, that's exactly it. Like, you don't advertise a small cameo from a fan favorite character. You want to keep it a surprise as much as you can. And if someone jumps the gun, you a little bit of damage control, take it back a little bit.
Yeah, you want it. Yeah, you want that surprise to be there because it's those little things that kind of add, that make it fun. If Jake Johnson pops up again, like that would be so cool. But you also don't want to set expectations, as I think we'll get into our next story. You don't want to set expectations that aren't there. So if you're saying, Jake Johnson is reprising his role as Lowry, it's like, then we're going to think, oh, he's a big character. He's on Claire's team or whatever, he's hanging around Ian Malcolm's door trying to get an autograph or something,
Right, exactly. Like, as a big fan of Jake Johnson's, when he first got announced as being in Jurassic World, it was like a nerdgasm, if you will. I'm like, one of my favorite comedic actors from a show I really love, and like this indie movie darling actor is in Jurassic Park. Are you kidding me? And like, he just crushes it as a fan favorite character, and like, I just want to see him back. And I kind of wish this hadn't have leaked out, assuming he's in the movie, because if I'm sitting in the cinema watching this happen and unfolding in front of me, and I see Jake Johnson appear, I'm gonna jump out of my damn seat,
Yeah. Well, makes you wonder, like, are there going to be other cameos like that, you know? I mean, again, Lost World didn't advertise that Lex and Tim were coming back, because then we would think that they would extend beyond that first opening scene in the movie, but it's like, nope, they're just there to say hi and bye. Like, it's to sort of show that the world is fleshed out. It has no bearing on the narrative.
Also, if you don't mind me going into spoilers for a second, so just spoiler alert, Steven, do you like spoilers? It's mostly conjecture. It's not really spoilers. We don't know for sure.
I don't mind I don't mind spoilers, because I think personally for me, you know, I want to like a movie on more levels than just what happens in the movie, and so I think sometimes it can sometimes it can detract, but ultimately it's how the things are, you know, it's how the characters are used or how the details play out rather than just knowing them. So right. I think if anything, I've taken a more approach to, for certain movies, like I'll pick a movie a year where I just won't watch anything for it, and so that movie I'll kind of come in pure. But for a movie, you know, for Jurassic Park stuff, it's like I feel like it's part of my job to kind of keep up with what's happening, so I kind of have to let myself be spoiled, but ultimately it's not going to ruin my experience when I finally see it in theaters.
All right, perfect. So let's get into this then. Okay, so there are some day players, super small actors playing roles of like things like senators, senators' aides. There's a park visitor. There's a secret agent for the Senate, which makes us think that there's going to be some sort of courtroom Senate hearing, if you will, and people will be brought in front of the court to testify, give expert witness. And that's where I think that park visitor will play a role. Maybe he's someone who got injured from the attacks, and they're looking to shut down the park. Maybe some way to, you know, make sure the dinosaurs don't survive this sort of volcanic explosion. You know, keep them on the island, let nature take its course, destroy these animals. And that maybe that's where Jake Johnson comes in. Maybe he has to give some sort of expert testimony on, you know, how Claire behaved and how Owen behaved, or what happened during Jurassic World. And maybe that's where Jeff Goldblum comes in. Maybe he's like, you've seen what happens if these dinosaurs get off the island. Give us your thoughts on why they should be left alone on the island to die from this explosion. So my question is, do you think that if Jake Johnson is in this movie, that he's going to have some sort of, you know, presence in this potential, you know, courtroom Senate scene?
Oh my gosh, the idea of a courtroom scene is kind of crazy. It's just like, it's like a Mr. Smith goes to Washington, Mr. Dino goes to Washington kind of thing. It's funny because at first I was kind of like, oh, I could see this scene totally opening the movie, sort of addressing the aftermath of Jurassic World, kind of catching us up to speed. But I would also hate for, just as a fan, not thinking about narratively, but I would hate for our Jeff Goldblum, you know, return. I would hate for that to be at the very beginning of the movie. I kind of, as a just like excited about the prospect of having Ian Malcolm return to the franchise, part of me hopes that they'll hold that for later in the movie, you know, but I don't know.
You know what? Yeah, ideally, maybe Ian Malcolm is, you know, peppered throughout the story, if you will. I mean, we know he's been filming for at least a week, so potentially that gives multiple filming days. So maybe he has a choice scene at the start, maybe one in the middle, and perhaps the rest in the third act for when potentially the dinosaurs reach Lockwood's Manor, from what we've heard in the spoilers and rumors. So ideally, you know, Jeff Goldblum will be present in a smaller role, but throughout the movie, you know, peppered like a nice seasoning, as, you know, Jeff Goldblum has alluded to now in the Empire podcast. In this podcast, Jeff Goldblum has confirmed his role in Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom is relatively small. He's quoted as saying, "It's small. Who knows? They may cut me out entirely," which I think is a joke. That's something else. But if I stay in, I'll be a sprig of parsley or a little garnish, hopefully with some impact. So, like I said, you know, you can have this little topping, like Jeff Goldblum topping onto this beautiful Jurassic World dish, if you will.
The frosting.
But this little garnish or parsley can have a deep impact into the deeper meaning of the story, luckily. Or, you know, you can find some over here, some over here, maybe some on the bottom of your plate eventually. So regardless of the size of the role, we might see Jeff Goldblum, throughout the story yet. So what are your thoughts on Jeff Goldblum having a relatively small role?
I mean, I think I was always prepared for that. I think I personally, and again, I don't know anything too crazy, but I never really expected from his announcement. I never expected him to go toe to toe with dinosaurs again. I just think that I can't imagine it. I mean, I want if it happens, I'll be glad, but it's just something I've kind of had to prepare myself to just accept that he's not going to go toe to toe with any dinosaurs again. But it just makes me think that this is going to be such a different Jurassic Park movie than any we've seen before, because we're always contained to the island. We're always contained to a very small quarters. Maybe in Jurassic World we're crisscrossing across the island, but the idea that we might be traversing oceans and different, from island to mainland to mansion to cities to court, like this is going to be such a global adventure, unlike anything we've ever seen.
I know you and I have talked about recently on your podcast about a mythology Jurassic Park, Jurassic World movie. I think this is our chance to get really deep into the mythology of not only the characters but the companies involved. Like, for example, John Lockwood, or whatever Mr. Lockwood's name is in the movie, he's the partner of John Hammond. It's adding this brand new depth to the movies that we've never seen before. So when we go back and watch Jurassic Park 1, The Lost World, Jurassic Park 3, and Jurassic World even, there's going to be some new elements that we didn't know before that existed. Like, we're going to see Mr. Hammond in a brand new light. Maybe the incidents of Jurassic World in a different way because of this brand new character. So I think this movie is going to be our encompassing, mythology episode, if you will. Like an episode 8 or an episode 5 of Star Wars. This deep mythology, bringing something new to the series, which it gives me some hope, And with the addition of a fan favorite character in Jeff Goldblum, someone we all connect with, someone we all love, maybe he's going to help us with that journey, Maybe give us something new with, someone old to help us, transition into this brand new phase. So I'm very excited about this. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think no matter how big or small Jeff Goldblum's role is, I think him along with BD Wong and having that this feels like such a menagerie kind of movie. I think is going to really help tie everything together. And of course I want that to happen. I want the same level of care as people give the Star Wars story group or the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I definitely want that because it just feels so good, and it just would be fun to like tie up all the loose ends and stuff, to just think of the creative ways that people can be like, I mean, obviously the like pteranodons from Jurassic Park 3 were cleaned up by Vincent D'Onofrio's character Hoskins, but it's like, that's set on a website somewhere. It's like, it would be cool to see more of that stuff brought up and talked about. We have the Hammond statue in Jurassic World, but it's like, I want more interaction with that stuff. And I think, if it helps the story, but also just as a fan, I'm like, I just want more of that stuff. I want a character like Claire to like reference, Isla Sorna. Yeah. Like, we just keep an eye on those dinosaurs. Like, but we don't let any of them contaminate. We didn't let them, we didn't let those dinosaurs like interact with our dinosaurs, because they were from an older stock. Yeah. Like, the idea of her talking about if Bryce Dallas Howard says Isla Sorna at any point in the movie or Site B, I would fucking die.
Sure.
Like, I would die so hard. Like, that's like ultimate fantasy.
Exactly. It's fantastic.
Or like,
I mean, like, logically, you gotta mention it. Like, okay, where do you take the dinosaurs off the island? You bring them to Isla Sorna naturally, right? So maybe we're gonna hear some Isla Sorna dialogue here, right?
Yeah, or like the idea maybe Chris Pratt, maybe Owen Grady like went to Site B to like, before they started making new Jurassic Park, new Jurassic World dinosaurs, like how did he get his training? Maybe he went to Isla Sorna and like studied the raptors there or something, where are the pre-Jurassic World Isla Sorna, cleaning up Isla Nublar. Like, where is all that stuff? I would love it if they could find some way to incorporate any of that into Fallen Kingdom. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. But I think, again, that's the sort of fan stuff that you're like, I really... I think a lot of people go back and forth on why that kind of stuff matters. And I think, a big part of the In General podcast and Jurassic Outpost, and I think you guys, is being like, well, that stuff matters because it shows that you care. It's not about it becoming the story or the narrative. It's just saying it's those little details. It's, when the Star Wars Story Group will bring back like a random small extended universe character that has nothing to do with its original incarnation, but throwing that nod, throwing that name just is that little extra details that just really make it feel like, you are as invested as the fans.
Yeah, it's like this little connective tissue that brings all these movies together in like this sort of, that this franchise, this universe is living, it's breathing, The people, the players within this franchise, they're aware of what's happened. There's a past, that there's a future, There's this little connective tissue that gets me very excited for the future. And speaking of
ancient
the future.
Oh,
very good, sir. Very good. Every future has a past, right? I think so. I know, I'm a master of segues. The first Jurassic Park 25th anniversary merchandise is beginning to show up. All right, guys. So we have on our website an article that shows a collectible coin that has the very controversial Jurassic Park 25th anniversary logo on one side, and on the other face, a mosquito and amber that has a numbering on the bottom, a potentially limited numbering. I think it says 5,000 pieces released, limited release for this. So the coin comes out this November. It's a gorgeous coin. Our scientists have done things which, whatever the rest of the quote is, I can't see the coin, and I don't know the coin. Unfortunately, I'm really sorry. Yeah. And also, I listen, guys. You guys know I'm not 100% on my quotes here. This is not the Lost World, okay? We can't quote like crazy stuff here. And there's also some beautiful, beautiful Jurassic Park art prints from a Iron Gut Publishing. Iron Gut Publishing. I'm so sorry, Iron Gut Publishing. You can buy their stuff. You can buy their stuff on smartarts.gallery. We have a link on our website. Check that out, guys. And just to wrap up the Jurassic Park 25th anniversary, we have a beautiful book, a beautiful children's book, in fact, called Jurassic Park Little Golden Book, which is a age-appropriate book adaptation of Jurassic Park. It is a fully illustrated book of 24 pages. Releases this February, or coming February, and will sell for $4.99. And guys, if you look at this art right off the bat, it's gorgeous. Steven, have you seen this art and his coins?
Yes, and I actually have the Jurassic Outpost article up in front of me now too, so I can follow along.
Excellent. Good website. I recommend you guys check it out.
I'm a sucker for all the because I still have that stuff. I have the dinosaurs of Jurassic Park from my childhood, that little childhood, thing. I don't know. It's cool. I love all this stuff. I mean, I'm a sucker for it. I definitely think I would get the Golden Book for sure. I don't know if I'm a big coin collector. I remember for people in the U.S. when they put out all the 50 state quarters, over my entire growing up, I remember saving a bunch of the quarters thinking I was going to get all 50, and then one day in college I was like, I need this for laundry, and then I just spent all the quarters.
That hurts, man. That hurts.
So I was excited about the last bit of 25th anniversary, which is the deluxe junior novelization.
Oh, that's you know what, I forgot to scroll down. Yeah, you want to cover the new
sure, yeah.
novelization? Thanks, buddy.
So it's a hardcover version of then releases next February, and it was a reissue of the original junior novelization, but it does include full color scenes. So I have the original junior novelization. I actually didn't have that one at the time, but I did have the Lost World one at the time, and it's one of those things where it's they're kind of written around the same time. They're not really like, sometimes they don't have the full script or they haven't seen the full movie. So sometimes there's like little weird differences. And I think I'm curious to see what they're going to do with this. I mean, it's essentially just like a condensed version of the movie, but it's just another curious way to interact with, the movie. And I like the cover a lot with all the bones and everything. It looks cool.
Oh, hello there. I hear you're a fan of dinosaurs and Jurassic Park. Well, check this out. Audible has got a deal that is perfect for you. Audible is offering a free audiobook download with a free 30-day trial for you to check out their great service. Since Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom is coming out next year, why not go back and listen to the first Jurassic Park novel written by Michael Crichton on audiobook? Or, if you're interested in something brand new, why not go check out Michael Crichton's novel Dragon Teeth? Hey, you might even be interested in something brand new. Why not go check out Lean In by Sheryl Sandberg? To download your free audiobook trial today, go to audibletrial.com/InGeneral. Again, that is audibletrial.com/InGeneral for your free audiobook. One more time, why not? audibletrial.com/INGENERAL. Thank you, Audible. We love you. What are your thoughts on the logo, if I may ask?
The 25th anniversary logo?
Yep, with that beautiful 25th anniversary little bit hanging off on the bottom.
Well, it's curious that it's like it's yellow on yellow. That's my only thing. I wonder if it should be red or something, but
I wouldn't have minded just like a classic just logo by itself and like 25th anniversary potentially just somewhere else on the screen there, but
you're not a fan.
It's a fine logo. No, I don't think any one of us are a fan, unfortunately, on the website.
Yeah,
just to wrap this little bit. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say. It's very curious because I feel like our entire Jurassic Park fandom, whenever they've added things to the bottom of the Jurassic Park logo, it's always been about squeezing it in, And so it's very curious that I feel like. Yeah. I'm just like looking up the Jurassic World Evolution logo, but that's also like squeezed in at the bottom, right? It's not punching. Yeah. It's not punching out of the logo.
I don't think this logo really lends itself well for, I guess, other titles. I think it's just like a Jurassic Park, Jurassic World, and that's it on that logo, and then maybe add the title above or bottom or something like that somewhere else on the screen, but.
Yeah.
I like that little badge. I like a clean badge of the Jurassic Park, Jurassic World logo. That's my opinion myself. A clean badge is nice. That's it.
Yeah, Jurassic Park, the color scheme and the logo itself are so specific and such a specific combination of stuff that it's so easy for it to go wrong, And I feel like, it's very little can it be satisfying. I think that's why I liked it when Jurassic World went blue and silver. I kind of liked it because it was like, oh, this is at least an acceptable variation of the original. I feel like so many versions of that logo just look so wonky because it's like this delicate balancing act with that logo. So I think maybe the designers were like, I'm tired of squeezing things into that little bottom. Can we do something? Jurassic.
Humor's like, just throw it on there. It's fine, no problem.
Yeah.
Just throw it on there.
I just noticed Jurassic World Evolution. It's not even in the thing. It's just at the bottom. It's not even. They didn't even bother. They didn't even bother including it in the.
Oh.
Yeah,
I think the Fallen Kingdom had the exact same issue. Yeah, it wasn't centered firstly, and then I think they fixed it afterwards. So you know what? Frontier, step it up. Okay, your game looks great, but your logo game, not great. Step it up.
They just have it floating in air below the Jurassic World logo. So
I never noticed that. I think super distracting. No.
I think maybe they were smart. They were sort of like, look, we can't muck with the timeless logo. Let's just throw our little game title underneath, because ultimately, again, you're going to get something like the 25th anniversary logo where it's kind of like explode. Like, I wish they had added like little exploding lines, like it's almost like the 25th anniversary is like bursting out of the original logo.
A little bit, yeah, sure.
But
okay,
it's funny.
What's left? Okay, so to wrap up this beautiful merchandising bit, there are 3 new products to discover for Jurassic World and quite possibly Fallen Kingdom, says the writer. I think Chris wrote this. Owen's Guide to Survival, Lego Jurassic World, and Reader with Stickers, Lego Jurassic World. Now, Steven, tell me, what are your thoughts on the Lego Jurassic World game and Lego Jurassic World short?
I love the Indominus.
If you played,
I love the Indominus Escape. I think it's so hilarious. I think it's really funny.
It's funny. It's really funny. Yeah, it's it's a kids thing, but it's like it has some pretty good bits in there. You know.
Yeah, and I like that a lot of the original Jurassic Park cast members did their voices for it too. I think that was really fun and clever, and yeah, it was very cute. And it's funny, as I'm saying this, I'm actually just getting the Jurassic World Lego game. Like, I just ordered it this week. Yeah, I was like, I need to treat myself to something. I never got around to playing the Jurassic World Lego game. So you know what? I'm going to order it. So I got it on, I have a 3DS, so I'm going to be playing it,
perfect.
in the coming weeks. But yeah, I've played the other the other Lego games, Lego Star Wars and stuff like that. So I know I'm going to have a good time.
Yeah.
So, so I mean, I'm all down for more Lego Jurassic World tie-in stuff for sure.
Yeah, I think you're going to have a real ball with this Jurassic World Lego game because, the developer, I think it was Traveler's Tale, if I remember correctly, they did a fantastic job as going, like they expanded the villager, the villagers, what was it called? What was the worker village in the Lost World? Was that what it's called?
Oh yeah, the worker village. Yeah.
Right. They expanded that. Like you get to explore the buildings, the gas station. That's fantastic. And in Jurassic Park 3, you get to go to like the aviary, explore that a little bit. You get to explore that rundown embryonic facility. Like the detail is there. It's obvious they care about the franchise. And just to wrap up this podcast for now, what are your thoughts on Evolution from what you've seen so far? Like, are you going to pick it up on your PC, or am I going to have to buy an Xbox or PS4 so you can play this game?
I mean, what
are your thoughts so far?
Yeah, it's one of those things where I'm just sort of like, it looks so cool. I'm not great at those management games. Like, obviously, love the OG Dino Park Tycoon. I played a little bit of Operation Genesis back in the day, but I've never been really great at the management stuff. Like, I'm not great at The Sims or SimCity or anything, but it just seems like it's going to be so immersive, and maybe that's just the cinematic stuff we've seen so far. I know that the trailer was like in-game footage, but like, it wasn't like gameplay footage. So I kind of wish it would be on the Switch because I feel like that's the only video game system that I kind of want, but
okay.
I have some friends who have PS4s and Xboxes, so I might just be like, hey, let me get Jurassic World Evolution, and I'll go play it on your system. But yeah, I mean, I think I definitely want to play it. I think at this point now I'm kind of like in deep, and I got to check out all the Jurassic stuff out. So I definitely think I'm going to check it out one way or another.
When you mentioned the Switch, I think this is a game that would, really benefit from the Switch's capabilities, and like, I guess it's a game suited for the Switch or even the Wii U from the past. But I think it's only a matter of time, before it hits the Switch. So, Steven, let's get a Switch. I'm gonna buy a Switch too. We'll play some Mario Kart, Mario Odyssey, Zelda, fun stuff like that.
Yeah, Mario Kart 8 Plus.
Exactly. We'll play some Switch games and stuff. Or you can get an Xbox One. You can play with me and Chris.
Yeah. Maybe I should get an Xbox.
Do it, bud. Blu-ray player and everything. A lot of fun stuff. But, Steven, thank you so much for joining me on this quick news recap.
No, thanks for
having me. Probably should mention that anytime, buddy. Whenever you want to come on, let us know. We'd love to have you. You're a beacon of hope with the podcasting world, if I may say so myself. You have some fantastic podcasts. Would you like to plug some of your podcasts?
Sure. Well, of course I have to plug See Jurassic
the one
Right.
Everyone knows?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well,
okay.
I could plug My Favorite Murder, but I feel like
there we go. There it is.
People will know about that one, and Karen and Georgia are the best.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I love working with them, and it's my favorite job in the world. But
hell yes.
For Jurassic Park people, See Jurassic Right, which again, Asees and I just talked about Jurassic Park 3 in great detail which will be coming out at the end of the month, the last Tuesday of the month. And that podcast, I feel like, is just, if you know, my favorite thing when I'm talking to people about Jurassic Park is just hearing their childhood stories and stuff. And so I really just wanted to make a podcast where it just really focuses on, you know, our like love for this thing and you know, and I just wanted to collect as many personal stories as possible. And so that's a big part of the podcast. And so if you've ever felt like, you know, if you want to hear from somebody who walked down the wedding aisle to the Jurassic Park theme, if you want to hear a woman talk about a story where when she went to the Natural History Museum for the first time but got upset because they weren't real dinosaurs, it's like those kind of stories. It's about a woman doing mushrooms and watching The Lost World and trying to save the characters, you know, from her TV screen. It's stories like that are on See Jurassic Right, because there's so many great Jurassic Park podcasts out there. It's like, how can we all complement and fit each other? Because it's now my favorite thing, where it's like I just have my rotation of Jurassic Park pods, and I basically get to listen to one every day almost at this point, it seems like, and it's really fun. So if you want to hear people's personal stories and stuff like that, See Jurassic Right is one. I mean, Chris has been on already, telling a couple different stories, and in December there's a story he talked about where he held around his like Red Rex toy like it was his dog, and he treated it like his dog, and it was super adorable. So look for that one.
Christopher. That's our Bigfoot hunter for you guys who don't know.
And then, you can follow me on Twitter at Stephen Ray Morris.
Stephen, it was an honor to be on your episode of See Jurassic Right. I can't wait for that to come out and listen to it. Guys, check out his stuff, man. He's the real deal. You know, we're lucky to have him on again, friend of the show. Stephen, thank you for joining me.
Thank you again so much. This was the best.
All right, guys, thank you for listening to this quick update. November is here, man. This is, we're counting down to the, I guess, stuff for once. It's been a long time since we've gotten stuff for Jurassic World, but this is it. Get ready for the emergency podcasts and fun stuff like that. Steven, I will talk to you soon, my friend.
Talk to you soon.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.